Hey, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. We're back on part 2 of the Ogre Mage. We made him last part. This part we're gonna paint him. That's Orc. Here we go, Ogre Mage. Boom shakalaka. So to start out, I guess what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a dark blue. And we're gonna give him a decent base coat. You want your brush to be a little damp so the paint flows freely. You don't want it to be soaked. La, 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 la. So I know painting's boring sometimes, especially when you're watching someone else paint. It can be boring. I don't really have a fix for that, and I'm not that interesting of a dude to where I can entertain you while I do it. I was watching Bill Making Stuff, probably one of the best channels I've been watching lately. Dude is phenomenal. I actually just think he's very talented. His brother Dan does is the same deal. He's very talented. They're just both good crafters. Somebody in the channel comments, I had mentioned him because I had started watching him a little bit, and they said he teaches how to draw and a bunch of other stuff, and he does. He's very interesting. He's a very just creative fella, and you know, obviously I'm not like him, but he knows how to edit and do other stuff too. His videos, like the production quality is like phenomenal. I don't even have an editing program right now. I did have one that I downloaded for free, but I just didn't think it was very good, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and I don't have time to dedicate to that. I do work a full-time job. This is not my gig, you know. This is just something I do as a hobby in my basement for fun. I'm not a professional crafter. I don't have a studio or anything. But he does apparently have like a pretty professional kind of setup going on, and he knows what he's doing. And I think I heard him say he worked in movies or something or in production before, and he's done a bunch of professional work for people. So, I mean, he's like the real deal. He's not like me. So anyways, I can't remember what I was getting at. Never mind. But anyways, watch Bill Making Stuff and Dan does. They're twin brothers, and they're both really talented. Alright, now I'm going to get a soft dry brush. I'm going to use a makeup brush for this. And I'm going to get a lighter blue color, but I'm going to use like a blue-green, like a turquoise. Because it says they're green, but the book looks blue, so I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. This is a little brighter and lighter than I had hoped for, but I think we're going to get what we want out of it anyways. We'll make it work. We'll will it to do what we wish. Well, I don't like it at all. All right. Well, let's get a smaller brush that I can work with easier. Get in here a little better and see if I can make it work. All right, I'm gonna get a light green here. That's really wet. Not super happy with that. Let's get something else. Let's get this palm leaf. This is like it's light, but it's not as light. Let's get this China blue. You can see I'm rushing because I'm starting to get impatient because it's not going the way I want. And that is a big mistake. Okay. We're going to need to darken that up, so I'm going to get just a whatever color here. This is tropical blue. I'm just going to get a little bit of this to darken that up. I am not sure that's going to darken it up in the way I wanted. All right, let's make it work. Yeah, that did not darken it up at all. It just made it aqua. All right, there we go. Oh, too much paint. Too much, too fast. This is a flop. Alright, we're going to have to make it work because we only have so much time. I think we're already way past the 5-minute mark if I'm not mistaken. Alright, let's get in here and we're going to use this and make it work. And I don't like the color a whole lot for my undertone. But we got to make it work at this point. We can't go back. We can only go forward. I kind of want to go play guitar after this, I think. Play me some guitar. I know Mrs. Doom and I have a hot date today. Or it's a stay-at-home hot date. We're going to cook together and make hibachi together. The kids are up at the lake with my parents. We're going to take advantage of that time to be lovey. I really didn't like that color. Couldn't really make it work the way I wanted it to. I'm hoping with a little bit more blue in this, we can recover it. I'm not holding my breath, but that would be nice. Okay, we're going to hit him with the hot air gun real quick. I'm going to put my brush and stuff up here. We're going to do one more hit with that China blue. Is that called China blue? Yeah, China blue. Oh, I forgot we weren't even going to do his legs like that, so I don't even worry about that too much. Oh, well. All right, so I'm going to get that China blue again. I'm going to lighten this up significantly. I didn't have enough paint. It happens. can't argue that he isn't green, and you can't argue that he isn't blue. I don't like the colors. That one green that I put under there just kind of still is showing through somehow. But it is what it is. Alright. Let's stop what we're doing here. We're about halfway done probably at this point. We've done a lot of damage. Let's get a light brown and do his pants. You know what? I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use Territorial Beige craft paint for this. And right off the bat, we have a lot of areas where there's going to be skin and stuff that we don't want to ruin. So let's get in here and take our time. Okay, I think that'll work for now for what we're trying to do with those. And let's get a darker brown and start doing some of the other stuff. I'm going to start with burnt umber. It's a really, really dark brown. And we're going to start doing some of his gear and stuff with this. And then we're going to start working stuff down into lighter, with like dry brushing and two-toning. We're just going to bring it all down to different tones from there. But his little pants, I did not want those to be real dark underneath, because if you're trying to make something that's kind of like linen or off-white and you have a dark tone under there, it'll never look that way. You have to have a light tone under, like a linen or something like that. Yes, I just did put paint in my mouth. Oh, got it up on his leg. That's okay. I'm just going to drag his boot into it and try to bullshit my way through it later on. Okay. Back of his loincloth. La 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 la. Front of his loincloth. La 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 la. There used to be a Ogre Mage who liked D&D. He was like, do you want to play with me? Did you know that when he goes and rolls his D20s, he cheats 'cause he's a piece of shit? Just can't get in there the way I want to. Stranger, it feels the air. Blah, 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 Man, I wish I could listen to some music while I craft. That is like kind of my jam. And since I'm making videos, I can't. There's this young guy. He's got to be in his 20s. His name's Ren. He's British. And even though I don't like all his stuff, he's got a very unique and creative way of playing guitar, singing, and rapping. And he doesn't like follow any of the rules. He just kind of does his own thing. I've been checking him out lately. He's pretty good. Again, I don't like all his stuff, though. It's kind of hit or miss, but at the same time, it's different. It's not like the other stuff that you're hearing. It's not like the other pop stuff, you know. He's obviously, his intent is to be different. You can tell, like, he's just really, really wants to be different. And normally, like, we kind of, you know, especially my generation, Generation X, we tease tryhards, you know, like, oh, yeah, man, you're trying so hard. But the truth is, the kid's just doing a phenomenal job being different and unique and bringing something new to the table that we didn't have. So I'd like to give him some credit for that. Well done, kid. Shouldn't call him a kid. It's a bad habit. As we get older, we get into this habit where we start calling people kid because they haven't lived as much life experience as us. But I'll tell you, for me, for example, by the time I was 26, I'd been overseas multiple times and had to fight in wars. And, you know, like at 26, I had kids. You know, I was a man. And when people called me kid, I did not like that. So I think I'm going to have to make an effort as an adult now or not as an adult now, but as an older man now to be more respectful of where people are at in life. Try to give them a little more credit where credit's due on what they've accomplished. And not just assume they're children still. It's hard when you have kids in their 20s. Everybody in their 20s just seems like a kid to you. Like, my sons are men now. They're not little boys anymore. They're men. But I find it really hard to separate the fact that they're my little boys, and have always been my little boys. I'm very proud of both my adult sons. They're good men who care about people and are considerate to people and will go out of their way to help people. But it's hard to see them as men. It really is. Because they were just a few years ago were my little guys. Walking around the woods picking up bugs with me and being fun. It's just like my little boys now. They're 6 and 8 already. You know, they're not little cuddly guys on the couch anymore. They're starting, you know, and kids are hitting puberty sooner than they used to as well. I've noticed. Well, I've been noticing it for years, but it's really become more prevalent in this generation. You know, 8-year-old, he's already starting to, his voice is already significantly deeper than I thought it would be at this point, and just the things he's interested in are scary. He's checking women out already and stuff. You don't want that for your little kids. You want your little kids to embrace that youth as long as they can. Stay kids. You don't want them turning into men right off the bat, but it's just the world is changing. There's an old quote. I don't know who said it. It might have been Churchill. It could have been anybody, though. I don't know. It says, soft times make hard men, or soft times make soft men, but soft men make hard times. So you try to teach your kids to not be soft, but then in the modern climate, it's like, well, there's all this talk about toxic masculinity and stuff. And, even though I don't know if I necessarily subscribe to that payment plan, I do know that there can be any behavior, male or female, can be very toxic. And I know toxic people that I've cut out of my life. So, you always have to leave that in the back of your mind. Maybe there isn't such a thing as toxic masculinity, or maybe there is, but there's definitely toxic behaviors and toxic people. And we have to make sure that our behaviors don't reflect a toxic type of behavior, because we don't want our children to learn about being toxic, and we don't want to set an example for our children. And I'll tell you this, my older sons, I feel like they don't have much respect for their mother. But even after she left me and cheated on me and stuff, I still never talked down to them about her, or in front of them. I never said bad things. I never blamed her. I never was angry with her in front of them until they were pretty much adults and knew what the deal was. And the reason I did that is because I didn't want them to grow up harboring dislike or hatred for people, or judging people in such a way that they became unredeemable. And that's a big problem. Oh, I didn't do his base. The concept of redemption is important in our culture. For me, I've done some horrible things in my life. I like to think that now I have a chance to come back from that and be a better person. The decisions I made when I didn't take the time to figure out who I was or think about what it meant to be a person with morals and beliefs. I just kind of ran around doing whatevs. And a lot of us do. I don't know if it's the same for women. Mrs. Doom hasn't said anything like that. And she's just one woman, so that she's not a good judge of what's what. But I don't really have any female friends because, I'm married. When I was younger, I had female friends. But the real truth is, guys and girls, most of us have friends of the opposite sex. Most of the time, we choose someone who could be a potential partner someday. People like to say, oh, we're just friends. But the truth is, we all start out with this, this person is attractive, and this person is smart, and this person's this. And the friendship is always a stepping stone in case it could go somewhere else. So when you get married, it's good not to have female friends unless they're friends that you and your partner, or your wife or husband, or whatever you got, whatever your situation is. It's good to have ones that are mutual friends between you, but to have independent friends that you confide in and stuff of the opposite sex, unless of course that's not going to be a problem in your relationship. It's good not to have friends that are potential dates. It's good for everybody. It's not healthy for your relationship to have friends that are potential sexual partners. It creates distrust. It creates resent. It's just not ideal. I'm just telling you now. I'm preaching to you. Full blast. All right. Let's get this stuff up out of the way. Let's get this blue paint put away. We're not using that anymore unless we make a mistake. And let's get the +2 hot air gun burning. And let's cook this feller. Hey, Macarena. You're starting to see some blue show through. I am too. All right, now I want this to look like a linen color, so the next thing I do is I get a khaki. Am I getting a new cardboard here? I get khaki and a crappy brush. Not crappy. I shouldn't. I always say crappy. This is I like this brush, even though it was like pretty much free. This is my favorite brush. No, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's up there. Now we're going to really want to do a strong lightening undertone on these pants. We want to lighten these up a couple shades for sure. And if we need to use this to cover up some of the blue showing through, we'll do that too. But we don't want to get, this is our main paint. This is just lightening it up. See if mistakes on the boots need fixed. We can do that with this right here. Okay. So we're fixing any blue showing through, and we're lightening these up significantly, but we're not hitting it perfectly in every spot. Because what we're doing is creating a two-tone undertone. Then we're going to get the same brush. We're not even going to wash this out. I have a color here. I don't know how good it is, but it's actually called Linen, believe it or not. It's a folk art color, and I don't know if it's good, but it's not as light as I wanted to go, so we're probably going to have to go another step down past this anyways. This looks like it's just like the Mummy Robes color from Army's Painter to me. It's just a gross off-white with a weird tint in it. So now I'm going to hit all that around. I need a little bit more. It's not quite as light as I wanted to go, like I said, so. It definitely creates a great backbone for what I wanted, though. It definitely does. Quite happy with that. Okay. Then I'm going to get off-white. And the off-white that I'm using, it's called Antique White. There's another color called Parchment, but mine's a little chunky and weird, and I don't like it as much. It would probably be better for this, but I'm going to use this Antique White. You see I got a little bit on the boots and stuff, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. All right. Same brush, that smooth brush. I'm going to get a medium brown. This is called Melted Chocolate. I'm going to touch up the boots. In the spots where you made the light with the white hitting it, that's okay. You're just going to rub it, give it a little extra attention with that there. And then you're just going to half-ass paint the boots. And I say half-ass because you don't want to go all in on this. You just want to create some variation in tone. You want to do the same thing on his loincloth, on his belt. Make sure you're not hitting skin. And then on all the little decorative parts sticking up on it, we're going to hit with this. And we're going to do the ram as well. Now for the ram and the bones on him, we're going to have to come back and do one more step. But otherwise, I'm getting that territorial beige that we used as the base coat for his pants. I'm getting a dab of that on my brush. I'm going to leave that out. We're going to need that. Oh, I got way too much. Okay, we're going to go over here on that brown. We're going to drag that around and lighten up the ram significantly. Where are those bones at? The bones were down here. We're going to lighten those bones up too. Real good with that. With the wettest part of this. Alright, then we're going to wipe a lot of that out of the brush. We're going to come back Start touching around to create some of these details. Or not create, but to pull up some of these details. Got a little bit on the skin, that's okay. We're going to do one more little touch up on the skin anyways. But this is real light, so it won't destroy the paint job. Okay. Alright. Hit his feet up pretty good. Right. Now on the bone, we're going to get khaki, which is very light. And we're going to get a smaller brush. I'm going to get this brush here. And it's just a really crappy plastic bristles garbage brush. I'm going to wipe a lot of the paint out of it. I'm going to touch up those bones. Okay. Lighten those up significantly. Then I'm going to throw that brush in my water. I'm going to grab a metallic. I'm just grabbing a gunmetal gray here. Alright, cool. I'm going to do this blade of his sword. I'm going to get my tiny brush. I'm going to do the little dots on his armor. A little dot on his belt. Do his little buckles. Man, my hands are shaking bad today. I'm sorry. It doesn't make for a very good paint job. Alright, so his mouth is red. We'll do the inside of his mouth in red. And don't forget, his teeth and his horns are black. And his eyes have white pupils. So this is all stuff we're going to have to work in here somehow. We're going to do the inside of his mouth red. Get between those teeth a little bit. Okay. We're going to get black. We're going to do his horns in black. Okay. We're going to have to hit him with the +2 hot air gun and burning, because we don't want to come back and hit those teeth while the bread's still wet. I'm doing this off camera so I don't have to move anything. Okay. And we want to get in these eye sockets with black. Okay. One last little thing here. We're going to get this skeleton bone color. Actually, we're going to use mummy robes. Could have used that linen that I had out, but I've already put it away. I don't feel like leaning all the way over there real quick. We're going to get that mummy robes. And this is just a fan crap brush. We're going to get a little bit of that. Something like this. Wipe a lot of that off. We're going to hit the horns on this ram. Okay. I'm just going to touch his pants with that a little bit. Okay. Let me get this light brown that I have out already. Steal some of that. I'm going to add a little variation on his base. Even though I don't like to do it with a dry brush, I like to do it while it's wet brushing. But that's okay. Alright, cool. We're going to do his eyes in a second here. And we're going to do a little bit of something different on his blade. I'm going to get the shining silver. It's a bright color. And I'm just going to run it down at the tip of his blade. Okay. Get a tiny brush and some white. And I'm just going to use that same off-white I just used. Clean out my brush. I use my mouth. It's cool. It's all good. It's all cool. We're cool. Putting some paint away. We're way past time now. I know we are. Let me look. Oh, hell, I'm so sorry. We're way past time. All right, quickly. Let's get some clear glue. A toothpick. I'm using the same dirty toothpick I've been using for multiple things. Spread it around, create some grass. I'm not even going to line his base. I'm just going to leave it brown. We are in a hurry. We are past time. I'm so sorry. I have been trying to shorten these up for you guys because I know that your attention spans, according to the algorithm, are not the same as mine. I will sit and watch a 40-minute video or even an hour video, and I do that all the time. If you watch Monstrum, some of those videos are very long. I love Monstrum. Go watch Monstrum. Alright, by no means is this perfect. There's a lot of things I'd like to keep doing with it, but here's our Oni. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. He's going to be clear-coated and taken upstairs just like the rest of them. I'll see you next time, and I believe we are on something with an O. I'm guessing it's Orc. No, it's Oozes. Oh no. Gelatinous Cube. Sweet. Alright, thanks for watching.